How's it going, guys? And welcome to the Gooner Press, the place where I give you all the latest Arsenal transfer news, the ins, the outs, and all the rumors in between. So, yeah, thank you for joining me on today's show. There is a lot to cover. There's been a lot of news when it comes to Arsenal in regards to players in, players out, and also in the coaching department as well. There's just so many moving parts when it comes to Arsenal Football Club. I'm going to try and cover as much as I can in the show. I don't want to keep you guys too long in the show, but if you're new around here, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I will be going on live later on this evening, UK time, around 9 p.m. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you can get notified when I do go live. And I want you guys to come and join me in the conversation when it comes to Arsenal Football Club, the ins, the outs, the rumors, the coaching department, everything. So I will be going on live. So like I said, I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this particular show, but I'm going to try and cover as much as I can. But saying that, as you guys obviously would have known, yesterday there was a massive breaking news that shocked the footballing world. Yeah, it took me basically by surprise myself. I remember where I was at the time, and I was like, I can't believe the notification I'm getting on my phone, the breaking news, and that was Diogo Jota of Liverpool basically lost his life yesterday, early morning around 12 a.m. When he was in Spain, and apparently he was making his way back to England for pre-season to start on Monday, July the 7th, alongside his brother. It was reported that apparently he had had a surgery, and obviously the doctor had advised that he couldn't fly. So hence the reason why I believe from the news and the journals and everything that's been coming out was that he was making his way back to England via ferry. So they were driving to a ferry port, and unfortunately, they were involved in a car accident, which subsequently they both lost their life in Diogo Jota and his brother Andre. I just wanted to send my sincere condolences to his family, his loved one. He's left three young kids. He only literally just got married as of the time recording this video about 2 weeks or 12 days ago. Literally, he was on cloud nine. Literally, he won the Premier League with Liverpool 2 months ago. He won the Nations League with Portugal just about a month ago. Then he got married. You would have thought anybody like that is living on cloud nine. Everything is going well for them. And then this tragic news was broken yesterday. So I just wanted to take this moment just to share my condolences to his family, his wife, his kids, and all his loved ones, his friends and family, and everyone that's involved with Diogo Jota. And as Liverpool will always say, you never walk alone. Right, so let's get straight into the Arsenal transfer news. And as I said earlier at the start of the show, there's a lot of moving parts in the coaching department, and I'm going to get onto that. I'm not going to talk about the coaching department and the speculation when it comes to ins and out when it comes to the coaching at Arsenal at the moment. I'm going to be doing that later on in my live show, but I'm just specifically going to focus more on the players in and the players out rumors in this particular show. So there's nowhere else to start, guys, as to basically the main news right now that everybody's talking about is Eberechi Eze. So we're going to start from there. Literally, Eberechi Eze. It's been reported that Eberechi Eze is still quite keen to join Arsenal Football Club, as you can guys can see here. Obviously, there's a clause I've reported this previously, a clause of £68 million, which Crystal Palace apparently are willing to take 3 installments in terms of 20 million, 3 installments, and potentially add-ons in 8 million, depending on if Arsenal can reach those, wherever the add-ons, may be. The interest obviously became concrete about 10 to 12 days ago when obviously Arsenal are quite serious about Eberechi Eze, and it's also been reported that Eberechi Eze himself is quite keen on joining Arsenal. There's been speculations and rumours also to suggest that he has cut his holiday short in order to come back to London and also should I say, push forward that move to Arsenal. And as you guys know, if you already know, if you're an Arsenal fan, I'm sure you would know, there's a lot of teams that's going to be resuming pre-season next week, and I think Arsenal are scheduled to start their pre-season on July the 7th, which is next week, Monday. So, and there's going to be a lot of moving parts. There's going to be a lot of players coming in, a lot of players going out. And Eberechi Eze, apparently Arsenal are trying to get this over the line before they do fly out, I believe, on July the 19th for their South Korean tour. So they want all these players in, including Eze, possibly Rodrigo, if not, and also a striker, which I'll get onto at the moment. So it's looking like Arsenal are making moves in the transfer window. There's a lot of things, and I think this is the Andrea Berta way. Normally, we would have concrete talks that Arsenal are going to put in a bid, or a bid has been rejected, whatever it may be. And unfortunately, it just seems to be like, it could be unfortunate or unfortunately that the way Andrea Berta works or operates, it's that he speaks to multiple players at the same time. And then obviously, eventually, he will try to see which one fits the club financially and also in terms of the playing style and the player himself. Listen, this is a new way of the way that Arsenal have always operated in the past. It would just be a case of which player generally fits well with the club in terms of personality, their playing style, their family, their background, you name it. That's generally, as far as I'm concerned, how Arsenal normally does their scouting and also make sure that the player fits in the project correctly. And I believe that Eberiche Eze is one of those players that will fit in perfectly at Arsenal. As we all know, he previously played for Arsenal. And I believe there's a lot of Arsenal fans that would welcome this move to Arsenal. So let's watch the space. He wants the move. He wants to come to Arsenal. And let's also just bear in mind this signing, if it goes and if it gets done and if it goes over the line, it's not a case of, oh, we're going to get Eze or Rodrigo. And I believe the rumors are Arsenal are willing to get Eze as a separate deal from getting potentially another left winger attacking player in potentially Rodrigo. However, in doing so, there's speculations to suggest that Arsenal may have to sell either Martinelli or Trossard. And the speculations have been that Martinelli, apparently, that Al Nassr are willing to pay up to £73 million for Gabriel Martinelli. Let's take a moment. I'm not going to lie. I'm in split minds when it comes to this. And this obviously has been making rounds quite recently in the last couple of days. And I'm quite like torn because if I was to choose out of the two, if we had to sell out of Gabriel Martinelli or Trossard, it'd be a case of I'll be tempted to sell Trossard based on the age profile, as everyone keeps talking about, because we've still got more with Gabriel Martinelli in terms of age. But then when you look at the impact in the team, Gabriel Martinelli listen, argue amongst yourselves. We can all agree that Martinelli didn't have the greatest of season last season or the season before. The best season he's had recently, should I say, is the 22-23 season. I think like since then it's been on a decline. It hasn't sort of reached the highs or improved. Sort of like when you look at Bukayo Saka, they were playing alongside each other. 22-23, they were one of the two best players in the team. And it seems like Bukayo Saka seems like his upward trajectory has gone up, whereas it just seems like Martinelli is going down. However, I say that, but at the same time, I was quite critical of Martinelli. So I wouldn't moan if we're going to be getting something between the 70 to 80 million pounds mark for Gabriel Martinelli, and everyone keeps saying that we never sell for good price. Maybe this is the time we need to start selling and getting some money in for one of our good players. Players comes and goes. I think if it was Bukayo Saka, I'd be like, hell no. But Martinelli, I'll be very open and inclined to say, you know what, if that's the case, cool. If that means we're going to get Rodrigo in, I'll take it all day, in my opinion. But obviously, as I said, there's speculations to suggest that Martinelli is being linked with an away move from Arsenal. And there's reports to suggest that if the price is right, Arsenal may be willing to sell. This is just a rumor. Listen, don't shoot the messenger, but it is what it is. If that is the case, if that's where we are with that thing, then yeah, it is what it is. Let's move on to the striker front because it's not heating up. There is still the whole, is it Gyökeres, is it Sesko? And it's just, honestly, it's getting tiring. It is getting tiring. Up to me, I would have thought that Arsenal would have gotten this over the line by now. Like we're literally, it's the 4th of July, 4th of July. Preseason starts on Monday, and we're still having discussions about Arsenal making up their mind whether they want to sign Gyökeres or they want to sign Sesko. They're still having conversations with both camps. And I personally don't understand it. I thought we would have made a bid, would have agreed, would have had a medical, whoever the player is, just bring him in. Just at this rate, Arsenal fans are saying, just bring him in. Whoever it is, just bring them in. So we know we're going into the preseason tour with a striker. We're ready also for the season. Give them a couple of weeks to embed themselves, like maybe like a month, because the season will start not literally where July the 4th, and I believe the first game of the Premier League season is August the 7th or the 8th. So we're not too far off before the new Premier League season starts. So in regards to Sesko or Gyökeres, the news at the moment is that sources have indicated that there's still no agreement between Benjamin Sesko and Arsenal, let alone the two clubs, with suggestions that striking a deal for the player has proven significantly harder than expected. Sesko's agent is understood to have developed a strong relationship with former sporting director Edu and Jason Ato, but with Andrea Berta leading the negotiation, those nurtured relationships are no longer relevant. So it's just one of those things. And I think it's been speculated, and obviously it's been well documented, that Arteta's preference would have been Sesko. However, Berta's preference is Gyökeres. So that's why I think they're sort of butting heads at the moment as to the players or as to the striker they actually want to sign at the moment. So it's quite difficult right now to say which one Arsenal are actually going to officially go for. But just watch that space. It's probably going to happen, but we just don't know which one. Moving on to the next one is Rodrigo. I said this a couple of days ago in one of my shows or live shows, I can't remember which one, that there is high hopes and there's still sort of speculation to suggest that Arsenal are definitely watching the space and monitoring the situation with Rodrigo. Obviously, Real Madrid are still currently in a Club World Cup. They've got a game to play against Dortmund on Saturday. And yeah, depending on what happens, Rodrigo has not played for Real Madrid since the first game of the Club World Cup, and he only played like 23 minutes coming off the bench. Apparently, the speculations to suggest that Real Madrid and Alonso are in agreement over the sale of Rodrigo if a suitable offer arrives from the Athletic. So that's what basically is being rumored at the moment. I've always said it. I'll have Rodrigo, I'll have Eze, and I think we need both, in my opinion, because obviously Eze can play multiple positions up front, and Rodrigo would be great on the left. It will probably come in for like a Martinelli or Trossard, in my opinion, and I don't think we're going to be able to have all three. Although I would love it, but I don't think financially Arsenal will definitely have all three. However, in terms of the Rodrigo, it's looking very likely that Arsenal are potentially going to be pushing this through and potentially going to be getting this potentially over the line. I do think it's one of those transfer deal that potentially will go towards the end of the transfer window. I don't believe that we're going to be able to get this over the line before the season starts, although that will be the preference. But just strapping guys, I can envision this going the long haul, and we won't be able to get this over the line as of when we want. Another speculation that's obviously been making the rounds, and I covered this the other day, which a lot of Arsenal fans are not happy about and are not really supporting at the moment, is the speculation in regards to Noni Madueke. Arsenal obviously reporting that from Fabrizio Romano the other day that Arsenal have held new rounds of talks for Noni Madueke as the player could be open to the move. Nothing advanced yet in terms of club-to-club approach or direct negotiation with Arsenal, but maintain contact. This is a separate deal from Eberiche Eze. So it's important to make sure that we understand that this is not a case of Eze or Madueke. It's basically Eze and Madueke, or Eze and Rodrigo, or one or the other. So yeah, I don't know about this one. I've said it before in my previous shows. Like, I'm not a fan of this. It's not because he plays predominantly on the right wing, and I don't think he wants to come to Arsenal to start playing second fiddle to Saka. They basically challenge each other when it comes to the England squad. It's either Madueke or Saka. We all know who's starting all day long, our star boy. And then to bring Madueke in, is he playing second fiddle to Saka, or is he challenging Saka? But I think there's a lot of people in the fan base that are not in support of this whatsoever. So I don't know what you guys think in regards to that. Let me know in the comments below. Are you Madueke in, or are you Madueke hell no? I'm a Madueke hell to the no. So that's basically where I stand with this. So yeah, those are the rumors at the moment. And at the moment, that's basically where we are. Obviously, with the Mosquera deal, it is reported that obviously Arsenal are willing to go back in and making another bid after the first bid was rejected. So just watch that space. It can potentially accelerate as of between today and Monday, and before the obviously the players come back for pre-season come next week. And another transferring news in regards to outgoings, it broke this morning that Tommy Yasu, who remembers this player? And I think I've covered this and I've shared my 2 cents on this over the last couple of weeks in terms of the videos I've been doing. Tommy Yasu. It was reported by Sammy Mokbel that it is exclusive that the Arsenal defender Tommy Yasu has left the club after reaching settlement to terminate his contract earlier this month. The deal expired in 2026. That's his current deal, with the option for a further 12 months. However, Tommy Yasu is expected back from knee surgery in the next 4 to 5 months. So yeah, here we go, guys. Tomiyasu is no longer an Arsenal player. He has now left the club, as reported by Sammy Mokbel. This was a news, or I covered this a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, why is this man still at the club? Why is he still at the club? I'm sorry, but if we're going to be, we're not here to be carrying deadwood or just to be like, say, oh, but he's a nice guy, let's give him a chance. No, this is a business of winning. We need strength in depth. We don't need to be carrying players that are injured and not playing and paying them a wage. I'm sorry, it seems harsh, but decisions like this needs to be made more often. It's not a fault of his own. When he was fit, he was a good player, don't get me wrong. Played multiple positions along the back line, but it gets to a time where you're gonna have to make a decision and say, even if when he does come back within the next 4 to 5 months, what is it going to add to the squad? Is it going to be able to play? He's going to need a couple of more months to get back up to speed, especially playing in the Premier League. So I think this is probably one of the best decisions Arsenal have made recently. And I'm in support of this move. So yeah, Tomiyasu, no longer an Arsenal player. He will be leaving Arsenal, probably has already left. And you know, I just basically wanted to wish him all the best of luck in his endeavors. It's reported that there are some clubs in the Saudis that are having conversations with him. And you know what? I wish him the best of luck. I have no hard feelings towards Tomiyasu. As I said, he was a good player when he was playing for us, when he was fit. But unfortunately, players do come and players do go and they move on. But yeah, that is basically all the transfer news at the moment. It was reported, obviously, that we were supposed to have announced Zubimendi yesterday. But as I said at the start of the show, there was some bad breaking news, devastating news that was reported yesterday. So I think there was a lot of sort of respect that was being paid towards Jota. So a lot of people paused a lot of content, a lot of release, a lot of announcements, but it is expected to resume today, if not on Monday. So just keep a lookout. There's a potential that Arsenal might announce the signing of Zubimendi. If they do, obviously I'll be here to bring it over to you, the breaking news in regards to that. And as I said, later on tonight, I will be going live. So make sure that you join me there. If you haven't already done so, hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell so you can get notified. I want to have a conversation with you guys. Come and join me on the live and let's basically have a conversation in regards to Arsenal. And I'll see you guys there. Have a good one, Gooners.